Now it is the turn to speak from the Mymensingh Girls Cadet College. I'd like to invite Cadet Tazria. She is the team leader of this Mymensingh Girls Cadet College.
25 minutes have passed and I'm heartbroken because, learned opponents, you have offered me nothing but a screenless smartphone. Honorable moderator, panel of judges, fellow debaters, and all the teens sitting on the other side of the screen, take my heart. Today, I'm not to debate for the sake of debate or earn votes in my favor, but rather I, for the young generation and for the youth, am standing before you firmly opposing today's motion. Honorable moderator, our opponent's third speaker tried to vaguely tell us that social media algorithms are designed to be controlling us, but in fact, algorithms used by social media platforms are for showing users what they exactly want to see and provide a much more useful and efficient user experience. And to enlighten you, according to Pew Research Center, 71% of young adults reported that social media algorithm helps them encounter content which connects and inspires them. 88% of them face content which enlivens them. This proves your social media experience entirely depends on you, whether it's positive or negative. I mean, isn't it unfair to paint the entire social media as the criminal when you are the person behind the phone? The honorable moderator, my opponent's third speaker also tried to claim that social media is a main factor behind the various mental disorders, including depression. But I don't get it why they were unwilling to acknowledge that 52% of teens with severe and moderate symptoms of depression say that they find social media helpful whenever they feel stressed or anxious, including 31% of them with no symptoms. Source: Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. While mainly lack of awareness and knowledge, privacy concerns, and social stigma are preventing teens from seeking clinical supports and mental health acknowledgement, you are still pointing your finger at social media, mentioning your so-called fear of missing out. Well, my second speaker has already mentioned the fact, and you have compelled me to repeat it, that here social media is distinctly assuring them with scopes to express themselves and be acknowledged about mental health. Learned opponents, here your stands simply prove that you're either blind or just pretending to be blind. Shining chairs. So as we have seen, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced billions to go online to socially interact, and thus those social media habits which outlasted the pandemic has now become a day-to-day part of our lives. And online video conference platform Zoom faced 350 million daily users during the pandemic, which is 20 times more than the pre-pandemic record. Facebook had 70% raised in video calls daily, and you cannot deny your contribution in increasing that number. Learn opponents. A survey from 2020 on behalf of Person and Connection Academy asked 2,000 US parents about the new normal of high school, and 68% of students and 65% of parents believe that social media is indeed a useful tool and part of the new high school normal. Learned opponents, it's high time we realize that our ability to normalize the extraordinary is extraordinary in its own rights. So, not to mention how the Arab Springs uprising in various countries in the Middle East showcased the power of social media as a potential tool of collective action and social rights. The young protesters mobilized the streets in political oppositions with smartphones in hands, used platforms like Facebook and Twitter to organize protest and rally support for democratic reform. And far from being antisocial, my dear opponent, these youth harness the potential of social media to amplify their voices and drive real-world impact. And my learned on the second speaker, when you mentioned about corruption, I'd like to tell you that corruption is basically the abuse of power for personal and private gain. And according to Corruption Perception Index, the most corrupt country in this world is South Sudan, and the highest rate of corruption prevails in African countries. But the interesting part is that African countries are still 20 years behind in using information and communication technology. So, if you find a relevant explanation to this case in your favor, please let us know. And my other point, when you mentioned about the parental behavior thing, I want to tell you that you say that the parents are using social media, and so the children are learning from the parents. But I want to say that when did social media tell the parents to come and use it? Social media never forced the parents to use social media, and thus the children are not learning from it, my learned opponent. And I want to say that instead of blaming the social media solely for the For these antisocial youth, the first step you can take is to take off your rosette glasses and start recognizing what is truly essential for us, because social media is a canvas where we paint our digital masterpieces. A canvas that can either foster isolation or spark connection. It's all in how you wield your digital paintbrush. So I want to say that you can share that meme and tweet that pun, but remember, the real world beckons with open arms, ready to embrace you whether you're trending or not. On this very note, I'd like to conclude my speech here. Thank you, Honorable Moderator. Thank you, everyone.